Okay, have you ever really stopped to wonder what an AI is actually thinking? I mean, we usually treat them like these mysterious black boxes, right? We toss in a prompt and boom, an answer comes out. But what if we could peek inside? What if we could literally see how it gets from A to B? Well, we're going to pry open that black box because what's going on in there is starting to look a lot less like a bunch of code and a whole lot more like a creative partner. So, how do we even begin to wrap our heads around an AI's thought process? Well, the best way is to start with something we all know really, really well: our own minds. You know that little movie that's always playing in your head when you're thinking things through? Let's start there. I mean, seriously, think about it for a sec. When you're trying to solve a puzzle, don't you kind of picture the pieces clicking into place in your head? Or when you're navigating, you see a mental map, right? That's your mind's eye at work. It's this incredible ability we have to create mental images, and it's absolutely fundamental to how we reason about space and solve problems. And check this out. This is a really fascinating comparison. Over on the left, that's us. That's the human brain taking in words and sights and creating a mental picture. But now, look at the right. Researchers are basically building the exact same process for LLMs. They're teaching them how to create their own internal mental images from all the data they process. They're literally giving AI a mind's eye. And let's be super clear here. This is not just some cute metaphor. The researchers behind this are explicit. Their goal is to give these models the ability to create and manipulate mental images. This is a massive leap, you guys. We're talking about moving beyond just crunching text to something that feels a lot more like real spatial reasoning. Okay, so if an AI can have this mind's eye, the big question is, how do we actually see what it's seeing? How do we watch it think? This is where things get really cool, where we go from theory to actually making the invisible visible. So the first big step in this direction was a method called chain of thought. And the idea here is actually pretty simple. You just tell the AI, hey, before you give me the answer, I want you to write out every single step you took to get there. Just think out loud, but in text. And the process looks pretty much just like this diagram shows, a straight line. You have the input, which leads to a thought, which leads to another thought, and finally, the output. It's neat, it's logical, it's easy to follow. But that beautiful simplicity? Turns out that's also its biggest problem. I mean, when was the last time your thinking process was a perfect straight line? It just doesn't work that way, does it? We weigh different options, we go down one path, hit a dead end, and backtrack. We juggle multiple possibilities, and a simple linear list just can't show you any of that messiness, that complexity. And that brings us to the next big leap forward: visualization of thought. Now, this is a game changer. The AI doesn't just write its thought process anymore, it draws it. You can see right here in the diagram, every single step in its reasoning now comes with a visual. It's generating its own mental images for us to see. Here's the best way to think about the difference. Chain of thought is like getting a printout of turn-by-turn directions. It works, but that's all you get. Visualization of thought, on the other hand, is like pulling up the full map. You see not just one route, but all the possible routes, the side streets, the landmarks. It's a huge shift from just a verbal explanation to a rich, spatial one. But wait, it gets even better. What if we could take that map and not just look at it, but actually interact with it? What if we could guide the AI's thinking in real time? Now this is where things get truly mind-blowing. What you're looking at isn't just a static picture. It's an interactive reasoning tree. You can think of it as a dynamic flowchart of the AI's brain in action. It's a living, breathing document of its thought process that we can actually influence. So here's the magic of how it works. The AI gets a complex problem, and it starts by breaking it down into all these branching steps. But, and this is the crucial part, instead of just running with it, it shows you its work. It lays out its entire logic map for you. You can then literally click on one of those steps and give it feedback. Say you're planning a trip, and you can add a note like, hey, just so you know, I'm on a pretty tight budget. The AI sees that, and instantly it adjusts its entire plan based on your feedback. It's incredible. Okay, so why is this such a big deal? I mean, really, what's the bottom line here? It's because this completely changes our relationship with AI. We're moving away from AI as just a tool like a hammer or a calculator, and towards AI as a genuine partner we can work with. And this isn't some niche thing just for programmers trying to debug their code. This is for all of us. By making the AI's reasoning transparent and interactive, we're creating a shared context, a common ground where human intuition can meet the AI's massive computational power, and they can actually work together. This diagram really lays out how that new partnership works. You've got us, our human brains, on one side. You've got the computer's raw processing power on the other. And that visualization in the middle, that's the bridge. It's the shared language that lets our creativity and intuition connect with the AI's logic to solve problems together. Let's walk through what this looks like in the real world. Say an analyst kicks things off with a tough question. As the AI starts to work, every single action, every hypothesis it tests, gets captured and visualized in this live flowchart. So now the human analyst and the LLM are literally looking at the same map of the thought process, and they can tweak and refine it together in real time. So what does this all add up to? What's the big picture? I think we're standing at the dawn of a completely new era, not just in computing, but in the very nature of how we think and solve problems. When you boil it all down, this is the transformation we're all watching happen. We're finally moving away from that black box tool and towards a transparent, steerable partner. Think about it. It's the difference between just giving orders and actually brainstorming with a brilliant colleague. And the research really backs this up. This visualization, it's the anchor for this whole partnership. It creates this shared space, this structured view of the problem that both the human and the AI can look at, point to, and build on together. Which really leaves us with one last huge question. For all of human history, our greatest breakthroughs have come from brilliant minds working together. So if we can now genuinely collaborate with a totally new kind of intelligence, if we can see its thoughts, guide its reasoning, what once unsolvable problems, what incredible new discoveries are we finally going to make together?